I just have to say how impressed I am that y'all have been putting this conference on for 22 years. And I've had a chance to meet and connect and speak with some of you over the past day or so. And I'm just so impressed at how connected this community is. And actually, I had the great pleasure of speaking at the Mayo Clinic Social Media Network annual conference last year, right here in Scottsdale. Is Lee in the room? Hey, Lee Acey. My claim to fame, Lee Acey is actually one of my very first ever Facebook friends back in 2007, right, Lee? That was awesome. So based on my conversations with many of you and the depth of connection here and how impressed I am at the level of commitment you all have to growth and development, I just have to say what an honor it is to have the opportunity to speak before you today and share my knowledge, because I know that you will absolutely get value from my presentation, and it will dramatically impact the way that you're marketing on Facebook and Instagram in particular. Now, before we go any further, I'm going to ask everybody in the room here a very important question. By show of hands, just be honest, just tell me straight, friends. How many of you would agree with me that you are not utilizing Facebook and or Instagram as effectively as you could be to market and grow your business or organization today? Raise your hands. Excellent. Very good. Thanks for your honesty. Thank you so much. Now then, if you did not raise your hand, I promise you, I assure you that you're missing out, because there's a whole other level that you could be taking your social media marketing. And so, here's the deal. I have a wealth of knowledge. We could talk like for days on end about marketing on Facebook and Instagram. But I cannot move mountains in our time together here this morning, or hour or so. But what I can do, and what I will do, is to share with you my 3 most valuable takeaways that you can walk out of the room here today and go back to your offices tomorrow, this week, and implement and begin seeing right away a difference, a significant impact in the way that the results that you're getting on Facebook and Instagram. Okie dokie? So, let's do this. Diving in. We'll start with who moved my cheese. This is basically what Facebook has been like for the last, where are we, 2018? Well, 2000, certainly since 2012, since the company went public. And the landscape has changed dramatically. Many of you know the algorithms change. They change things all the time. Just when you're getting used to one strategy, Facebook changes it up, and there's a whole other new strategy that you have to get used to. We're always at the mercy of the Facebook algorithms. And now, the algorithms, of course, are coming to Instagram. They're already there, right? The Facebookification of Instagram. I will say hashtag resistance is futile. It's just the way it is. So our little friend here, this is like where we used to go back in the day. You'd gather up all your fans, and now, oopsie daisy, where have they all gone? So we used to be able to get so much organic reach, like as much as 300% more. You could have like 100,000 fans on your Facebook page, and you could get reach in the millions. Organically, free, right? And then, you know, Facebook changed things. Just to put it in another way, if you don't know already, this is actually how Facebook shows your content right now. This is just a simple pie chart. The white is not seeing your content. So every time you post a piece of content on your Facebook business page wall, and to free, you know, if you don't boost or anything, not seeing, nobody's seeing it, nobody's seeing it, nobody's seeing it. Oh, one tiny little wee sliver there. It's about 1 to 6%. Between 1 and 6%, maybe around 3% organic reach for your content on Facebook if you're not boosting it. Another way to put it, you might have seen this chart before. This one blows my mind. This is actually, as you see here, starting in October 2013 through February 2014, the organic reach dropped by 50% in just 5 months. And again, like I say, we're always at the mercy of Facebook's algorithms. This is put together by our friends at Statista and Social at Ogilvy. So I've put this little wee gravestone up here. Rest in peace, organic reach, 2004 to 2013. As I always like to say, organic reach is so 2012. And it's sad, but true. But there's a really good news here. Even though Facebook's showing your content, like I say, between 1 and 6 out of every 100 people, it is still possible to get organic reach when you really know what you're doing and you include an ad budget. I know, it's counterintuitive, but when you give Facebook money, your organic reach will improve. And so this is an example, a very recent example of one of my own, from my own page. October 7, just a few weeks ago, I got 65% organic reach on my page, utilizing the techniques I'm going to be teaching you today. You definitely need a much more sophisticated strategy, as I mentioned, to have the paid component as an integral part of it. I know many of you are doing paid already, but also a major focus on community. Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, they're absolutely determined to make Facebook continue to be a social network, to put that social layer first, that meaningful social interaction. So everything I'm going to talk about today, these 3 key takeaways, it's completely enveloped, if you will, in that social strategy, that meaningful interaction, building community. And as Anne said yesterday, it's not about marketing, talking about ourselves. It's about putting the spotlight on them and giving them what they want. So I'm going to give you some great examples here today as well. So it's still feasible. As you see, that's 137,000 reach out of just over 200,000. And no, it did not boost that. That was got all the factors right. So occasionally, you still can get crazy good organic reach. But Facebook absolutely is now pay to play. And I know some people have been complaining, griping about this for years. But you got to have an ad budget. You just have to. There's no doubt about it. And I know many of you do. I've been talking to Kathy, and she said that many of you, and I actually looked at many of your Facebook pages. And now, earlier this year, thanks to the way that Facebook changed their policies about ad transparency, every single business page has that info and ads tab. So we can go in, anybody can go in and look what ads you're currently placing. Can't see who you're targeting, can't see what budget you're spending, but can see the ad creative and if it's a linked ad to click and go where your landing page is. This is actually Mark Zuckerberg counting his billions, I think. That's how you know. Speaking of Zuck, I'm just going to put this here for a minute. I'm sure you all remember this moment. I'm sure it was a very uncomfortable moment for Zuck. We had some great training, and doing his congressional testimony, I was not going to repeat, but somebody had fun putting that little smile slider on the bottom. In any case, I don't mean to make fun of Zuck, but that moment was definitely fun. The Facebook newsfeed, Instagram feed, Messenger, and WhatsApp, that's the big four Facebook family of apps, is the best targeting that your ad dollars can buy on the planet, bar none, bar none. Did you know the Facebook newsfeed is actually patented? It's patented as a formula. They patented it. They actually filed it in 2006, and they successfully got it patented in 2012. So there's a lot of psychology that goes into the news feed. I don't know if you all know this, but you know how the notifications are in red, and now the notifications are no longer in chronological order. It drives you crazy. You have to go in there and you have to figure out it's anything to keep drawing you back and keeping the users engaged. However, Facebook said for about a year and a half, that they are going to run out of ad inventory in the newsfeed. And it makes sense. It makes sense, right? In this small piece of real estate, you can only get about one post, one ad. And 90%, over 90% of Facebook users all over the world, 2.3 billion of them, access Facebook predominantly on their mobile devices. We have to think mobile. Even if we're old school and we're sitting at our computers and our laptops all day long, most of your audience is on mobile. And so Facebook said they're going to be running out of space for ads in the newsfeed. So therefore, they must find new places for eyeballs to go. And that's part of what we're going to be talking about. It's time to rethink everything and figure out where the heck did the cheese go. Find the cheese. With our Rodin's thinker here, he's thinking about that. It's not just the news feed, right? So whether you make a post on your Facebook page or you're publishing on your Instagram feed, it's not just the feeds anymore. It's basically stories. We're going to talk about stories, messenger, video. New places to have eyeballs. And I tell you something, friends, for one, that I am actually extremely excited about this time right here, because I have been doing what I do as a Facebook evangelist, a Facebook marketing expert, for 11 and a half years. I got on Facebook in May the 4th, Star Wars Day, May the 4th be with you, 2007. So over 11 years. And my enthusiasm and passion for Facebook has never fluctuated. Sometimes I get a little irritated at Zuck and the things that they do, and there's been some real big challenges, one of the most challenging years. However, for a 14-year-old company, let me tell you something, friends, it's like they're just beginning. And this is the most exciting time, and you guys are all in the right place right now, because there's some things that are about to happen that are ground floor and an amazing trajectory. Right now, there are 80 million businesses on Facebook with a Facebook page, out of which 6 million, only 6 million, are advertisers. And then on Instagram, 25 million businesses on Instagram, and out of which only 2 million are advertisers. And then Messenger, just getting started, and stories as well. So we're going to talk first about Messenger. Let me ask you a quick question here. How many of you, by show of hands, how many of you know what a chatbot is? You understand what a chatbot is? Okay, many people, I'd say maybe 80%. I saw a few waivers. Of that, now then, let me ask you a different way. How many of you here currently, for your business or organization, you have deployed a chatbot on your, oh my gosh, okay, you actually have a chatbot. Okay, maybe 4 people. That's amazing. Great, perfect. You are in the perfect place. This is super exciting times. With Messenger, some of you may remember this, it's been a few years ago now, that Messenger was baked into Facebook, right? And so we always got our messages in there. Do you remember the day when Facebook pulled it out and made it a standalone app? People freaked out. They did not want that, myself included. It was annoying. It was frustrating. Now we're used to it. We're totally used to it. And so with Messenger, there's just this huge opportunity to do what's called messenger automation and deploying what's called a messenger chatbot. So you're automating some, not all, but some of your customer care, your sales follow-up, your frequently asked questions, filling out quizzes, getting people to pre-qualify down a certain path, and then they can put their email in or their phone number, whatever it might be, or be driven to a specific landing page on a website. The thing is, out of 80 million business pages, there's actually only 300,000 chatbots on 300,000 businesses have deployed a chatbot. So those of you that do not yet have a chatbot, you're in good company. But here's the thing. Last Tuesday, 1 week ago, today's Wednesday. Last Tuesday, Mark Zuckerberg, in his opening remarks on the Q3 Facebook earnings call, I love listening to those every quarter. He said, we're seeing the way people connect shifting to private messaging and stories. people feel more comfortable being themselves when the content's only seen by a small group of people. And I thought it was fascinating he said group of people because there's messenger chat. People talk to one another in groups within Messenger. I don't mean the Facebook group product, I mean messenger groups. So, WhatsApp, oh, this is a great chart to take note of. This is astounding to me. Messaging apps actually surpassed social networks about 4 years ago. That cross line right there. The orange line is the 4 big messaging apps, okay? WhatsApp, Messenger, WeChat, China's WeChat, and Viber. Then the 4 big social networks on the black line, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So there are more people using messaging apps than there are actual social networks. Again, this is why it's so important for us as businesses, as marketers, as organizations, to pay attention to what's going on in messaging apps and utilizing that not only for marketing, but for follow-up and customer care and frequently asked questions, that kind of thing. The idea of chatbots has been around since 1960. What's the big deal now? Well, people speculated for a while, but they've moved finally from sci-fi to the real world. What's changed? 2 big reasons. Advances in technology such as AI, artificial intelligence, and natural language processing, which is amazing, right? People type something in, the bot knows what to send them, it's been pre-programmed. An explosion in text messaging apps, like I just talked about. By 2019, eMarketer predicts 1/4 of the world will be using messaging apps. So again, really important to pay attention to. Now, get this. Oops, back up. Let that play. It's a little chat bot. Oh, come on. Back up, forward. There she goes. Now, you recognize that little bubble there. 40% of people have said they don't care if customer service comes from a human or technology as long as it's the right answer. There's all kinds of amazing stats coming out about how consumers would rather interact with a business that has a chatbot than pick up the phone and call them. Now then, this is an event by Ogilvy UK, #HealthBot2018. And it was actually an event that was, I have this in my previous notes, hang on. Yeah, as a conference dedicated to artificial intelligence, messaging, and chatbots for health and wellness. I believe it was held in Toronto earlier this year. #HealthBot2018. Was anybody there? #HealthBot2018. Okay, nobody. So I'm going to recommend, just write that hashtag down, #HealthBot2018. Later, for some homework, go to Twitter and check out some of the tweets on that hashtag, because this is your industry, and it was really, really fascinating to me. Chatbots for health and wellness. Okay, so messenger automation, what can it do for you? What can a chatbot do for you? Set appointments. That's on anyone here, you're in a clinic or any kind of situation where you need to set appointments. Provide important updates. Generate leads, for sure. Nurture relationships. Build trust. And it's much more informal. It's short and informal. You want to integrate the person's first name. And the good news is, of course, Facebook actually has all that information and data on everybody. This is just an animation of an example of a cosmetic company. So you tap and you can see it's real time, learn more, and the bot comes back. Great choice. Here's the first 15-minute sessions, giving you some options. This is all pre-programmed in here. This is all done automatically. There's no human being managing this except for the person, interacting with the bot. You're confirmed. Here's your initiate a call. Here's your appointment time. And on it goes. So that's just a quick example of what's possible. I'm sure many of you here have interacted with the bot and understand the power of it and what's possible. Now then, I'm going to show you a really cool example. There's just so much that can be done with chatbots. We have this conversation in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. I guarantee you 90% in the room, you guys will all have bots integrated on your pages and your messenger. So watch this great example. In the UK, and by the way, I'm originally from Scotland, although I was born in Canada, and I spent 20 years in Scotland. So Kathy, Thank you so much. And Mike, I really appreciate you bringing in that piper, that bagpiper, just for me. I love bagpipes. It's an acquired taste. In the UK, Stoptober is an annual initiative they do in the month of October, and it's by the National Health Service in the UK. What it does is the bot will actually send you daily tips to help you stop smoking for the month of October. I just popped this in the other day there. I'm not a smoker, but I just typed this in, and it's still, active even though we're in November. And what it does, it sends you these really cool things, anything to keep you motivated, distracted, just keep going with your commitment to stop smoking for 28 days. And if you kind of feel like you're craving, you're going to fall off the wagon, they even have what's called like SOS messages. You just interact. The bot basically becomes your friend. You're interacting with that bot, getting support. This is profound. You might know this, but stop smoking for 28 days and you're 5 times more likely to quit for good. That's this whole initiative. Now, I don't know, when I moved to California in 1999, it's like the mecca of personal development. Not a lot of smokers there. In the UK, a lot of smokers. And so this is great that they're really doing this initiative over there in the UK. Let's look at the messenger chatbot campaign that they did. There's actually a campaign that was created by Ogilvy UK as well, Public Health England. So the Facebook Messenger chatbot, they basically had this goal to get as many people as possible to stop smoking or to be smoke-free for 28 days. And the chatbot, like I mentioned, daily support messages and these SOS responses. So the results look like this. 3,000 people quit for 28 days. The average engagement rate with the chatbot was 67%. 92% of survey respondents found the tool helpful. 75% claimed they were now smoke-free, which is awesome. 85% they'd recommend the service to a friend to help them quit. And get this, even though, of course, National Health Service of the UK recruited Ogilvy to build and create the bot, the entire campaign was done with no media spend. There'll never be a cheaper time to start integrating a chatbot and building a community and building interactive support such as they did over here in the NHS. Now, there's a huge variety of chatbots that you can experiment with and get a sense of. And what I recommend, another little piece of homework for you, is that you set up a test Facebook page. A test Facebook page. Don't play around and deploy a chatbot right away on your actual Facebook page. Set up a test Facebook page, and then this is the chatbot company that I use. It's called Mobile Monkey. My friend Larry Kim here, the former founder of WordStream. He just sold it for $150 million. So you can go to mari.chat, or you can just message me. If you go to my page, facebook.com/Mari Smith, one with a blue check, enter chatbot, and it should give you some information about the chatbot. It's totally free. So you can just sign up with get a test Facebook page and get a free account like this one, where there's other choices out there, a lot of different chatbot companies. Start playing around with it, look at the different possibilities, and get a sense of what you could roll out in your company using a chatbot. And they have a great, great blog and some great tools and templates and things like that. So in summary of the chatbot messenger marketing component, again, it's only the tip of the iceberg. Maybe 15% of marketers have so far deployed a messenger chatbot, and it's the very, very beginning. And it's really growing in industries like finance. I do a lot of work in finance and insurance, and the healthcare. I can just see that, I know some of you have bots already, but this is really going to be a growth area. Start to get creative. Remember, it's not to be used like email. It's not for just blasting everybody with big, long messages. It's for short, micro engagement, personal, more intimate, much more relatable. Now then, on the subject of messaging, I wanted to put one slide in here about WhatsApp. How many of you here, by show of hands, are outside the United States? You're based outside the US. Is everybody here in the US? Okay, great. Where are you based? Singapore. Wonderful. Okay. Singapore. How many of you have clients or customers or patients outside the US? Okay, a few. Oh, quite a few. Maybe a dozen or so. Great. So here's the deal, friends. Messenger is the #1 messaging app, Facebook Messenger, in the US. Outside the US, WhatsApp is the #1 messaging app globally, aside from China's WeChat, which is locked down to China, and Facebook is banned in China anyway. But I want to put you on notice that WhatsApp, owned by Facebook, paid a whopping $20 billion for it, and they're just beginning, a few years ago now, and they're just beginning to start bringing out the messaging component and the marketing component for businesses. So right now, WhatsApp Business, it's an Android app, and what's coming and available right now in Facebook Ads Manager is the ability to purchase ads to get people to message you on WhatsApp. So again, keeping our eyes and ears on the horizon of what's coming. If you yourself are based out to the US or you have patients, clients, customers outside the US, I guarantee they're using WhatsApp. You might want to pay attention to that. The cool thing is you can buy what are called click-to-messenger ads. You've got click-to-messenger ads or click-to-WhatsApp ads. So when people see those ads in their news feed or anywhere the ads are placed, and the call to action button is the recognizable messenger icon or WhatsApp icon, and they're already on their mobile devices. Remember I said 90% are using these apps, or using Facebook predominantly on mobile. So they just tap that little button and it just seamlessly opens up their messaging app, and then they can interact with you. You could just Google it about whatsapp.com. It might be whatsapp.com/business. So if that's relevant to you. Okay, so let's switch gears now and talk about video. One of my favorite topics. Messenger, most important. Video, next. Facebook, you may know this, but they are absolutely determined to become the next generation streaming digital television. Certainly competing with YouTube, but also competing with likes of Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime. They are spending around $1 billion in funded original content. They actually just put out about 25 funded media shows. I'm going to show you some examples in a minute. So it's amazing to me how much video products have been rolling out. Big focus on Facebook, including, I don't know if you even know this, but Facebook has a TV app. You can watch video content streaming on your television. And they're actually developing a piece of hardware, a television piece of hardware to compete with likes of Roku. So there's what's called video on demand. Any video you see on Facebook that is not live is called video on demand, VOD. So most of the video you do is probably VOD. Then you have Facebook Live, and that's, I'm going to give you some examples of that. Then what this is the Watch platform. The Watch platform came out in August of last year in the US alone, and that's Facebook's beginnings of becoming this digital streaming television platform. And Watch is available on mobile, desktop, and the television app, like I mentioned. And they had it out in the US only for about a year, and then just a couple months ago, they rolled it out worldwide. And Zuckerberg said last week on the earnings call that the Watch platform has just grown 3x in the last few months in the US alone. So they were excited about the growth of Watch. He did even say, though, he must say, a little caveat. He said it's not growing as quickly as they would like it, and he called out YouTube as their main competitor, which I thought was really interesting. And obviously it is, but it's not like them to actually name, actually call out, oh, YouTube's doing better than us. Of course they are. YouTube's a dedicated video platform. But guess what YouTube does not have? The social layer. YouTube/Google have never really been able to figure out the social, right? They had Google+. I loved Google+, even though I'm an absolute diehard Facebook fan. I really enjoyed Google+, but it didn't stick around. And then YouTube, the comments, it's just really hard to create community on YouTube. I'm not saying don't do, you want to do, you have to do video on YouTube as well, if only for SEO, right? For SEO, because obviously Google owns YouTube, right? But when it comes to deploying and publishing your video content, I want you to think repurposing. always repurposing. So you don't just do one video and it's a Facebook Live and then check the box, okay, we did that. Or you go in the studio and record something, or someone's recording their screen or whatever it might be. Then you go, okay, we did a square video, we put it on Instagram, check, we did that. You want to be thinking, how can you make this vertical? Vertical videos are really growing, certainly in stories. Stories are all vertical. And then, in addition to the Watch platform, Facebook has several new features that you can take advantage of right now when you put any video on your page. I want you to look at the settings. You upload the video, and they have something called premieres. A premiere, you can schedule it to go on a certain date, and it will look like it's live. And your fans will get a notification saying, this page is live right now. But it's pre-scheduled content, and it's usually like think of it like a trailer. But it could be any video content. In addition, they have something called a new video release. I just did one the other day, a new video release, and again, my fans are saying, Mari, how did you do that? It looks like you're live right now. I got a notification, because Facebook's going all in this video. What they also have now is polls, interactive polls. And this is awesome news, especially in the healthcare industry, because you could be putting all kinds of questions for your audience partway through a video. And what it does is helps with retention. It helps people to consume more video content. It will count down. Let's say you put a poll in at the 30-second mark, and then it's going to go, poll coming up in 10, 9, 8. And it's like, and people love to touch their phones and interact. And so there's gamification coming, all kinds of things. We really want to make sure we're paying close attention to video. You may know that Facebook's mission is to bring the world closer together. And Facebook Mark Zuckerberg changed it up January of this year, right? They thought they had a kind of call to arms meeting, and they're like, okay, it's no longer just about connecting the world, it's about making the world closer together. Now, I don't know if you know, but there's actually a separate mission for video, and this is it. Video mission, create shared experiences and a sense of belonging through video. Now, that's a tall order, but you can imagine that could not even necessarily apply to YouTube, because YouTube is a lean-back experience. People go to YouTube, they consume long-form content, a couple of minutes or more. Facebook, not yet. Facebook wants it to be more of a quick, maybe 3 minutes. They want you to watch more, but it's usually shorter content that you consume, and ideally engaging with friends. So, and Zuck said again last week, the Q3 call, video is a critical part of the future. It's what our community wants. And as long as we can make it social, I think it will end up being a large part of our business as well, he said. Now, I love that, because they could just go all in and go, oh, we're just about the views, just get tons of views, which they have been for years. But they really absolutely want to make sure that that social experience is there. Let's give you an example here of HubSpot. HubSpot, one of my favorite companies. I speak there every year at their annual Inbound conference. I know Ann does too. Inbound is an amazing conference. Tens of thousands of marketers attend. So HubSpot's a marketing automation company. They recently changed up their Facebook strategy. They've stopped wasting their time on things that don't work, such as, guess what? Posting links to their website. And this is what 99% of marketers do. I see it all the time. You have a new blog post, you have a new article, you have something on your website, you just shove it as a link on Facebook, but guess what? That's the lowest reaching type of content. Videos is the highest reaching, links is the lowest reaching. So if you have a piece of content you want people to see on your website, publish it as a video post with a link, or a video post that you turn into an ad with the button so they can go to your website. So instead, they're focusing on tactics that work, such as producing more viral videos and images. And you'll see that they always can be consumed with sound off. That's one of the key components of good video, is to consume with the sound off. I'm going to show you a video example in a second here. Just a quick note about Inbound. 24,000 marketers were there just earlier this year in September, so every year in Boston. And I've spoken there for the last 4 years in a row, and I just was there in September, and I had the highest impact of all attendees out of 24,000, 124 million impact with my social efforts. 124 million, 2 times Deepak Chopra, who was our headliner, and 17 times Shonda Rhimes, who was the second headliner. And then I show this to you because a huge part of social media in today's world is about influencer marketing. And there's components that go into it that really make the audience of the influencer engage. I get hired a lot by companies, for example, to do Facebook Lives. I love doing educational Facebook Lives to teach different aspects of that company or that business and share it with my audience. This is actually HubSpot's Facebook page. This is like a screen capture of me looking through their videos. Always have captions. Always have text overlay. So text overlay and captions is a good thing. There's our friend Bezos. Scrolling through and just showing you some examples, and I thought, oh, this looks like a good one. It's square. So I just ended it right there, but I pulled this up for many reasons. This video is so easy to produce, that type of video. First of all, Square performs best on Instagram and Facebook. So you can utilize this as just stock footage. You can definitely always want to do text overlay. 80% of video ads are consumed with sound off. You got to have it so people can consume without the text. Short, and it's shareable, and it's relatable. So here's a recommended Facebook strategy, similar to what HubSpot is doing. Instead of just like, say, we've got to get all our stuff out there and check the box, blast it out there. Focus on the ROI of each post, specifically on Facebook, the ROI of each post. Don't just broadcast your message. Increase the engagement and the interaction with your audience. Make that the goal of each post that you make. And video is a really powerful way to do that. Ideally, highly shareable. Shareable is one of the best ways to get free organic reach. And then optimize for mobile. So mobile, definitely Square, and then also vertical. I mentioned earlier about vertical. Stories, which we'll get to in a moment. The stories format is all vertical, right? 9 by 16. And so the reason being, people don't really want to tip their phone. I mean, we do it just out of habit. We're like, oh, there's a landscape video, turn, and now I'm going to watch it full screen. But instead of having to tip it, you can still watch full screen when it's created vertical. And so Facebook's actually funded about 25 media shows. They're working with organizations like ABC and NBC and Anderson Cooper. Let's bring up Anderson Cooper for an example.
One story that, maybe makes you cringe, and one that leaves you feeling good at the end of the broadcast. First, the bad. Listen to this. Talk about earning your stripes. A new zoo in Cairo, Egypt, is accused of trying to fool visitors by painting black stripes on a donkey to make it look like a zebra. That's just pathetic. A college student who spotted the strange-looking animal took this photo with it. Then he shared his photos here on Facebook, and as the kids say, the story went viral. The zoo director insists he's not an ass, and neither is this animal. But do you get it?
Okay, I know, isn't it crazy? I share this example with you because Facebook is paying Anderson Cooper. They're funding this, and this is a show designed for mobile. It can totally be consumed on desktop, but that would be another part of your homework, is to go and look at the various shows. Bloomberg has one, ATTN, Attention. Certainly, this is called Anderson Cooper 360. And you'll see that they're producing it kind of in this split screen, like when he's interviewing someone for the news, the person will be down here, or vice versa. There's something happening on the screen like every couple of seconds. It draws you in. You feel like you just have to consume it. And that's what they want, right? Facebook, it's 3 minutes or more is considered long-form content. And when you're producing 3 minutes or more videos, that sets you up to have ad placements, pre-roll or mid-roll ads, even though at the moment everybody hates them. But guess what? We're used to it on YouTube. How many times have you gone to YouTube and it's a very popular video and there's an ad? You just know you're counting down the seconds, 3, 4, 2, 3, backwards, 4, 3, 2, 1, and skip the ad. Unless it's relevant, it captures your attention, is well targeted. So vertical video is one of your big takeaways. And I put IGTV up here as Instagram television as a standalone separate app. It was just launched in June. Again, I mean, I would kind of like, at the moment, not worry too much about going all in on vertical and all in on Instagram television, unless that's your thing and you've got like a younger demographic and you have the resources. But for now, just take note that IGTV with its vertical video format and also repurposing over onto Facebook is going to be a great strategy. Another example. Oh, is the Mayo Clinic in the room? Hey, Lee. So this is, I was looking through their Instagram feed, and I've got a couple examples here. I wanted to just show another video example.
Think of pumpkin as a flavoring for our coffee or pumpkin pie, where in reality, pumpkin can offer a great amount of vitamins and nutrients.
I cut it there. It's actually a 1-minute video, but it's a great caption. Look at that, 12.4K views, and this is on Instagram. It is landscape, and I'm going to actually break it down and say what I liked about this video, what I thought was a great example. It's a food as a recipe. It's actually the #1 topic on Facebook video on the Watch platform. In fact, you can check out on the Watch platform, it's called Recipes. If you look up recipes, a wonderful lady called Rachel Farnsworth. She goes by the stay-at-home chef. Her Facebook Watch show with recipes gets 50 million views a week. And she's been offered shows on the Food Network and everything, turned them all down. She loves doing her show for Facebook Watch. But regardless, food and recipes, #1 topic on video. So great. If that's relevant to you and you're providing nutrition, you'll weave that in like Mayo Clinic did here. They got the text overlay, so it's designed for sound off. I had sound on there, but you don't have to have the sound on. It's relevant and seasonal, right? It came out around Halloween, autumn. You've got the pumpkin going on there. It's under a minute, which it has to be for the main news feed. It's 60 seconds or less for Instagram feed. I do recommend, Lee and team, so I noticed it was landscape, maybe consider square and see if that makes a difference, and then repurpose over on Facebook as well. And then also, what I recommend for everybody is to take all your video content and think how it can be repurposed in the story format. I'm going to give you a tool in a moment, one of my favorite desktop video tools, but another tool, a mobile tool for a mobile app is something called Story Cutter. Story Cutter, I think that one's for iOS, and there's one called Story Splitter. Story Splitter. So let's say you had a 60-minute video. You just, on your phone, you just pop that video into this app, and it just cuts it into 15-second segments like that, and then you just load that up. Or if you have a video tool you like, and maybe use some desktop Instagram apps. And then, what I also loved about this is that Mayo Clinic has their own unique hashtag Mayo Clinic Minute. And it has over 500 posts on that hashtag, which is really, really great. And by the way, the Explore tab, which is a little magnifying glass on the bottom, second one in, Instagram last week just announced that the 20% of all time on the Instagram app is spent in that Explore tab. And they're going to be bringing out all kinds of different ad units for that. But this, what we're looking at right there, is the hashtag screen, the results of just tapping on that hashtag. Let's look at another example from someone in the room. Is anyone here from St. Jude's? No? Oh, okay, St. Jude's, this beautiful example here. You might need a Kleenex. Just scrolling through. Here we go.
When I got diagnosed, they told me I was going to lose all my hair. It was kind of hard as a teenage girl. My hair was like a precious thing to me. When I look into a mirror, I definitely see everything I've been through, but it's all been worth it because I am here. I'm alive.
Beautiful. I've watched that video about a dozen times, and it just chokes me up. It's just beautifully, beautifully done. Talk about storytelling that tugs at your heartstrings. And so many of you in the healthcare profession, many of you have profound stories like Allie's to tell. Let's break it down and see what was so beautiful about that video. It's emotional, it tugs at people's heartstrings, it's relatable. All of us probably know someone who's been through a similar experience. Storytelling, it's beautifully done. ally yourself just through pictures, right? You can consume that whole thing without the audio on. It's designed to text overlay, so it's designed for sound off. However, it made a profound difference by turning it on because you just hear the emotion in her voice. But nonetheless, it's totally designed for sound off. Beautiful square format. It actually was under 30 seconds. And so that's another thing, again, for that short, that could make split in two. You've got two stories right there, but in vertical format. It doesn't, I'm pointing out anyone from St. Jude's, it does not have hashtags, so I'd recommend including hashtags. You can put up to 30 hashtags, either in the post description or in the first comment. You've probably heard all kinds of different things out there. It has a beautifully inspiring caption. And now that they were saying she's 14 back in 2013, fast forward 5 years, and she's 19 now. She's in college where she's a member of the Tri Delta sorority. So just wonderful. It gives people that sense of, wow, inspiration. They could do this too. So a great example of using video in storytelling and reaching your audience with real human beings that people can relate to. And almost 24,000 views last I looked. So I recently surveyed my audience and find out what is their biggest challenge. And in fact, side note, our friends at Buffer, some of you are familiar with Buffer, social media management scheduling tool, they actually did a survey last year, and they found that 43% of marketers said that they would create more video content if there were no obstacles like time, resources, and budget. I know you can all relate. My audience, I asked them similarly, this is in reverse order, gear. What gear? Lights, camera, tripods, microphones. What gear do we need? Green screens, you name it. Confidence. So many people say, I'm not comfortable on camera. I'm shy. I need to overcome my fears. Differentiation. People are like, how do I stand out? Everybody's on video now. How do I put my content out there and stand out? And then certainly number one was time. Everybody thinks it takes a lot of time to create video, and there's no question it does. However, this is actually how my winners are winning. They have the right tools, the right templates, the right content, right targeting, right engagement, and the right strategies. Number one thing missing from almost all social media marketing initiatives, campaigns, and definitely when it comes to video. People do video and just put it out there and just like hope something happens. And this tool right here, Wave.video, I have more winners winning with this tool than any other tool. And you actually get 200 million royalty-free assets. And if you see at the very top there, you can produce video in all the different formats at the click of a button simultaneously. So earlier when I was saying you got a landscape video, okay, now I want the square version, I want the story version, then you can do all that in Wave.video. It's a really powerful app. Okay, so the thing is, you've got content going out there, and as I've said, for 10 years now, content is king, but engagement is queen, and she rules the house. So the content, you definitely want content. There's no question. You got to start. Nobody's going to just talk to a blank wall. But the engagement, the community part of it, that's something that Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg are really driving home. They absolutely want us to have community be a much bigger part of our marketing. So on that note, I want you to meet Nicola. Nicola is also happens to be in the UK. She's a member of my community. And she's a great example of producing video without ever going on camera. She's very camera shy, and she actually just has an avatar. She's an expert in cryptocurrency, futures, commodities, and the stock market. She has a very popular group that you can join for 25 British pounds a month. You go to her page and you can sign up and join it. What does she do? She does Facebook Lives inside of her Facebook group daily, sometimes multiple times a day for her members. I just want you to hear her voice and see what she does.
Hello, my name is Nicola, and I'm starting a strategy group to teach traders and investors technical analysis tools and trend-following strategies that I use and which can help you to time entries and exits and avoid getting squeezed out of position.
Just a little clip of her intro video. She does that all day, every day, loves it with a passion, never been seen on camera. I show you this as an example where some in the medical and health profession, you might have, I mean, you have extraordinary experts with deep, deep knowledge and expertise. How is it you could maybe get their voice into a video and have some video, just some text overlay or narrated slides or a narrated desktop, so you can create video without necessarily having to have a full studio, lights, camera, green screen, and everything. Just to show you what Nicola is actually doing, she goes by Nick. In her group, she has over 1,200 members, and is generating 31,000 British pounds a month, which is about $44,000. Not too bad for just sitting doing some Facebook Lives. I'm saying just, that's no fair, because that's very, very in-depth knowledge. I know just enough about the stock market and cryptos to be dangerous. But I'm sure some of you can relate. Anyway, I show you that example as, again, just a way that you can utilize video in Facebook in a different way. Let's shift gears now and talk about stories. This one is absolutely your biggest takeaway today. I saved the best for last. Zuckerberg actually said last Tuesday, quote unquote, stories are the future. Stories are the future. They copied the feature directly from Snapchat. Some of you may know that. It's ephemeral content. It's disappearing. It's only up there for 24 hours and then it goes away. Instagram, when they copied the feature from Snapchat over 2 years ago now, they had the foresight to create the archive features. You can archive it, so it's not like, oh my gosh, what marketer would just create content that disappears? Well, fortunately, you can repurpose it, like I've said to you earlier. Repurpose it. Stories are actually growing at a rapid rate. And I've said this for about 18 months now, that Instagram is Facebook's next Facebook. And they are at 1 billion users. Just back in June, they announced 1 billion users. Here's Zuckerberg, as I say, stories are the future. Storytelling and consuming and reading and hearing stories is primal. It's in our DNA, right? And so what the stories feature, the stories product does, is allows us to consume content and for brands and businesses to drive through a series of stories to completion to an end result. 1 in 5 stories actually gets a response, including from brand stories. And chatbots, as we talked about in segment 1, chatbots are coming to Instagram. So now when people are consuming story content in that micro-short format, then they'll also be able to message you. Stories are growing 15 times faster than feed content, and there's going to come a time very shortly, a matter of months, where people will consume more content in the story format than they do in the feed formats. That does not mean you abandon putting content into the news feed and the Instagram feed. It means we have to, as marketers, do both and. Let's look at an example of a Facebook story ad, which, by the way, the ad product is out now. It's doing really well on Instagram. Instagram stories ads, and then you've also got Facebook stories ads. This is a investment app called Bucks. They're actually based in the Netherlands, and it's aimed at millennials. And they placed Facebook stories ads to raise awareness and get installation. See, the call to action is install now. So it's installing an app. And this was a campaign created by a company, an agency called Make Me Reach. They're based out of Paris, France. So let's look at some of the results. By doing Facebook story ads, right, the vertical video, they lowered their cost per click by 68% versus putting ads in the Facebook feed. 90% lower CPC than Instagram feed ads. And 79% lower CPM click per 1,000 impressions than ads in the Facebook and Instagram news feeds. But the main stat, the main result that Bucks were super excited about, because they're an app company, was what's called CPI. The cost per install dropped by half. CPI, half the price for Facebook stories ads compared to ads in the Instagram and Facebook feed. So again, a big takeaway from this segment is to be looking into how you can get your content into the stories format on both Instagram and Facebook, specifically ads, because you can using that beautifully, incredibly targeted, granular targeting features on Facebook. So I got this slide in here for you because I want to give you some tips, Instagram tips for healthcare. This goes for your wall and for your stories. On the main wall, I call it the wall, the feed. You can put up to 2,000 characters in the description of the main feed and up to 30 hashtags. I mentioned that. With your stories, you definitely want to include hashtags in the stories as well. It will definitely get you more reach, more visibility, and grow your following. Healthcare marketing is all about people. You want to focus on people's stories, like we saw earlier with Allie. Pictures with faces get 38% more likes, and captions with mentions. So if there's someone in your story or your wall post, your feed post that you're mentioning, definitely mention that person or that account. It generates 56 more engagement, 56%. Tag your location. Always tag your location if you have a physical location. That's important to do. Always those relevant hashtags. Super critical component of Instagram. Facebook, not so much, but guess what? It's growing because hashtags are now active. They're now clickable or tappable in in Facebook stories. And they have the same features over there on Facebook. Include your calls to actions whenever relevant, and then use creative tools and planning apps. Because I don't know about you, but doing Instagram all on your phone, it can just be real finicky, and especially if you have multiple people accessing. So you might want to look at some desktop apps. There's ones called Planoly, Plan That with 2 N's, Preview app. I'm sure there's plenty other ones out there, but those 3 are great choices to consider for programming and scheduling your content onto Instagram, including your stories. And it's just really a huge, huge part of what's going to be coming momentarily. I think with that, I'm almost through here, and we've got a little bit of time, so I'm going to show you real time some things on stories, if I can find my glasses. Can we switch over to my laptop, my friends over there? Thanks, guys. Let's do this. Okay, if I go like this. So this is, you're going to see my real desktop and my real phone. I'm going to go like that, like this. Okay, so I should probably put it in Do Not Disturb. I always say, nobody send me a racy text right now, please. And it flash up on the screen. All right, so those of you who are not that familiar with stories, if I go in here, let's look at Instagram first. And of course, stories are these things up here at the top, the little bubbles, I call them. Whoopsies, little bubbles. Every single one of those at the top, anytime you see a circle, the profile picture with the Instagram colored circle around it, that means that person has an active story. If they have the little video icon, that means they've been live in the last 24 hours. I like actually following Mel Robbins. She's wild. I don't have the audio on this, not to worry. And so these are all people that you follow. Right? You only see accounts up here that you follow. There's our friend Anne. Anne's great at stories. She's a great person to follow with stories. Hey, it's me. Oh, that's funny. That's like meta. I didn't know that. Thank you, Anne. She's awesome at stories. That's great. I love it. And so there are, my friends, the reason I'm really driving this point home is there are 400 million daily active users on Instagram stories. And there are 300 million daily active users on Facebook stories. If I hop over to Facebook, Facebook is a little frustrated that we're not taking advantage of stories as quickly as they would like us to. So they keep making them giant. They're not little teeny circles. They're like almost as big as a post now, right? They call them cards. So these are all stories, and I'm starting to see more and more people in here. Now, the cool thing is, as you tap into them and you go to view, this one I did yesterday. Oh, yeah, and I got the bagpiper in. I did. I put a wee bagpiper. Bagpipes, yay! Freedom! But as you swipe through, this is a key part of your homework. Again, if you're not ready to really embrace stories as personally or as a business, at least start doing homework insofar as looking at what kind of ads are being placed. So let me do that just for the heck of it. I'm going to go like this, and let's just start going across. My friend Jim, he's great to follow, Jim Quick too. I'm just going to swipe till I come to an ad. It's usually, see, it's every third one. Audible, there's Audible doing that. Press and hold on the screen for it not to go any faster, for it to stop if you need to read. And then you've got this, whoopsies, the swipe up or tap. The cool thing about this is that the person, the consumer, does not have to ever leave Facebook or Instagram. That's what they want. They want time on site. So I can go, oh, hey, Reese Witherspoon, cool. I can go click on this. I can sign up all the while I'm staying inside. And then I'm done with that, and I go right back where I was and start going back to consume my content. Blah, 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 blah. And another ad. It's like every third or fourth story is an ad. So I got to tell you something, friends, that they're another ad. See, there will never be less expensive time. I'll never have a better time to do ads and stories than right now. So again, part of your homework is going to be to use the stories tool. And you've got the camera. Now, I like to do, if I'm going to go on camera myself, if I do a video, I like to swipe it to hands-free. And then I do like the masks. I must confess, I like the Kylie Jenner one because you can just put a nice touch of lipstick on, like that. Look a bit more glam. Okay, I'm going to do a real-time story here. I'm going to turn it around and say hi to you guys. Hello, hello. We're at the Healthcare Internet Conference, hashtag HCIC18. Say hello, friends. Oh, yay. Great, we're having a blast here, and they're doing an awesome job. Cheers. Check out the hashtag. Okay, so now, sometimes what I'll do is this. I've just done that with my nice little lipstick filter that I like. Let's say I want to add hashtags. I want to tag the location. I want to be strategic in what I'm doing here. At the moment, I'm like, wow, in the sake of time, I'm literally going to hit save. The bottom there, I just saved that to my camera roll. There it goes. So now I'll post that later. I'll post it later because it's now on my camera roll, and I can carry on doing whatever I'm going to do. In addition, you've got all kinds of things in here, right? You've got the text, you've got music, there's the type, so many different things that you can do in here with just simple. And start to follow some accounts and get a sense of what they're doing on stories on both Instagram and Facebook. And Anne's a good person to follow, and all kinds of other folks out there. Buffer's a good one to follow. I love what those guys are doing. They do like trivia things. If we could just hop back to my slide deck now, and then I'll just finish up with the slide here. Perfect. Okie dokie. So I thought we'd wrap up just about what's coming on the horizon in the future. Basically this. So this is what you all look like. Kathy said you're all getting Oculus goggles for next year's conference. No, I'm just kidding. So what's coming for sure? Augmented reality. In the coming 3 to 5 years, you all will be developing ads and apps and content in 3D, multidimensional, fully immersive, this AR kind of experience. And they started with the phone like that. I mean, that simple Kylie Jenner app that I showed you there, Zuckerberg said a year and a half ago that the camera is the first AR, the first augmented reality. And they have all kinds of things coming where you can just point your camera at something and it will read it. Eventually, he said that with the goggles, these kind of unsightly things will eventually look like a nice, classy pair of Ray-Bans. And in about 10 years' time, he said that we'll basically be able to just pop a pair of contact lenses and don't even need a large screen TV. Just look at a blank wall, and up there will be projected the content through the contact lenses. That's a little wild. You might know this, they're working on things that can read your thoughts, and I know, it's scary making, we won't go there. But basically, like I mentioned earlier, this is an extremely exciting time when it comes to Facebook and marketing and the whole Facebook family of apps, Instagram, Messenger, WhatsApp. And the 3 major takeaways: Messenger marketing with the chatbots, video, and stories. So with that, this is my recommendation. It all must have the community element, the social layer, that meaningful social interaction. Facebook wants users to feel good, to have that positive sentiment when they interact with any of the apps. So community, community, community. First, you're going to integrate Messenger marketing, as I mentioned, maybe set up a test page, check out Mobile Monkey, Mari.chat, or any of the chat apps out there. Video. Test more square format. Repurpose as a vertical as story format. And then with the stories, try posting more than one. Do 3 in a row. do a few in a row, and start following people that really do great stories to drive engagement, all interlaced and wrapped around community. With that, I thought I would have time for Q&A, and I think we're right on top of the clock, though. I will be here for the next couple of hours. I'm more than happy to answer anybody's questions. Friends, it's truly been an honor to serve you. I have a free video success kit, if anyone's interested, marysmith.com/video kit. And that actually, I get asked all the time, what gear do I use, what camera, what lights, what microphones, what apps, what tools, how do you get better reach with video? And that's a free little resource for you. With that, my friends, we'll see you on Facebook. Keep on doing great marketing. Thank you.